For more than a month, much of China has been in lockdown as it battles against the coronavirus outbreak. Beijing is far from one of the worst affected areas, but as these shots from the past month show, much of the city is deserted. Parks, malls, and public spaces, once normally full of people, are eerily quiet. But if you look hard enough, there are still signs of life to be found.
Hi, I'm Nico and welcome to my channel. I know that I'm incredibly privileged to have never experienced anything like this before. When news of the epidemic broke out, I wasn't really sure what to expect. But what's really shocked me is just how quickly people have adapted to this strange new way of life.
Every time I leave the house, I arm myself with a mask and some hand sanitizer. Masks are quite common in Asian countries anyway, so it's not as alarming as it might seem. And washing your hands all the time is just common sense. So these measures aren't that extreme.
Beijing is one of the largest cities in the world, so it makes little sense to own a car here, and most people rely on public transport. So what happens when the city shuts down? So as you can see, the buses are still running normally. Usually they're packed full of people, but at the moment they're pretty quiet. And as you can see, so is the subway. They're disinfecting it regularly, and also they're checking your temperature when you get on. They're also insisting that you need to wear a mask. This is probably the quietest I've ever seen the subway. To be honest, I still wouldn't recommend using it unless you really have to, because that'll help minimize your risk. Taxis are still on the road, and also DDs are still working, which is a little bit like Uber. You need to wear a mask to enter the car, and so does your driver. Also, don't forget to thank your driver for working at this difficult time. 谢谢. This is the area of Sanlitun, which is one of Beijing's go-to places for shopping, restaurants and nightlife. As you can see, it's pretty deserted. Some places are open, some places are closed, but there's not many people around. In the places that are open, then usually you'll have to get your temperature checked and you have to wash your hands before you can enter. Generally speaking though, it's frowned upon to spend too much time in public, and people are wisely choosing to stay at home and isolate themselves. Because of this, many restaurants that used to be eat-in only have adapted to this new way of life and started a home delivery option.
I've been spending a lot more time cooking delicious dinners that I wouldn't normally have the time to make. When news of the epidemic broke out, I was worried that people would be panic buying and there would be a shortage of food.
But as you can see, there's loads of fresh produce. This is my local veg shop and it's always been stocked up. I've also been to some supermarkets and they've been well stocked too. But that's just Beijing. It might be different in other cities. As we've been spending a lot more time at home, I've been going to the foreign import store and treating myself to some tasty snacks, cheese and other treats to keep me sane. Unlike many of our friends, we don't live in an apartment complex, we live in a hutong. But I've heard in many of these complexes that security is checking your temperature when you go in and out of the complex. I've also heard in some cases that they're limiting the amount of times that you can leave. Now for me, it's a lot more relaxed, but I can imagine if I was in that position, it would feel a lot more scary. Leave me a comment and let me know what it's like where you live.
So you might be wondering how I've been spending my days. Well, I've been working. The government has advised all non-essential offices to stay closed, but life must go on. So I've been working from home like many people across China. I've made my kitchen table into a makeshift desk and I've been working from home with nothing more than my phone and my laptop.
It's amazing how well businesses have been able to adapt with the help of modern technology, but all this working from home is enough to make anyone go insane. I try to make sure that I can get outside at least once a day and go for a walk, even if it's just to grab a coffee from my local coffee shop, which now only do takeaway options. Basically, any excuse to get out of the house. Many people have complained about being really bored, which has made for some interesting social media content. But I've quite enjoyed the extra time to do some cooking, work on my YouTube channel, and fulfill one of my lifelong dreams.
This is Bonnie. Now, I kept reading all these heartbreaking stories about animals that had been abandoned because of travel restrictions, and I just felt like I wanted to do something. So I got in touch with a local rescue called Lost Puppies here in Beijing. I'll leave their link below if you're interested. And I'm going to be looking after this gorgeous girl until this thing blows over. So having a dog means that I've always got somebody to talk to.
Good. Who's that?
People have been asking if I've been out socializing much, and not really. I haven't really seen that many people, and I haven't really been out either. Luckily, I live with my husband, so I've always got someone to talk to. But if I was on my own, I can imagine this time being quite lonely. Luckily, we've all got social media, which helps so you can stay in contact with people around China, which is really reassuring. And also you can contact your friends and family from back home. Now, as much as social media is a help, it also can be a bit of a hindrance, and there's so many news stories going around about the coronavirus right now. Just check your source and make sure that it's a reliable online source, because there's a lot of fake news. So just don't believe everything that you read in the media. So as you can see, my life in Beijing right now is pretty settled still. Now, I know that this might be different for other people in Beijing as well, and also different for other people in different cities, provinces, villages. Everyone in China has different rules and regulations right now. So I'm not saying that this is what life is like here in China. I'm just saying that this is my opinion about what's happening in Beijing right now. Now, for instance, I can't even begin to imagine what people in Wuhan are going through. And I know that people from all over China have gone to Wuhan to try and help fight this virus and contain it and stop it spreading all over China and also all over the world. So I've been getting a lot of questions from people to ask different things, and two of the most popular ones are like, do you feel safe? And also like, are you going to stay in China? So right now, yes, I feel safe in Beijing. There aren't that many cases here in Beijing compared to the population. Now, Wuhan to Beijing is about the same distance as, say, like London to Italy, which is quite far away. So if something happened in Italy and I was in the UK, again, I wouldn't leave. So that brings me on to my second question. Are you going to stay in China? Yes. Like, China is my home, my apartment's here, my job is here. China is my life right now, and so I'd be leaving everything behind, and I don't know when I'd be able to come back. So yes, hopefully it won't get any worse. Obviously, I'm praying that it's going to get better soon. So for the moment, I'm going to be staying in China because China is my life. So I hope you enjoyed this video and you got a little bit of an insight into what it's like in Beijing right now, going through this outbreak. If you did, then give me a big thumbs up. If you're watching from another city in China, leave me a comment and let me know what life is like for you right now and how it compares. Also, if you don't subscribe to my channel, then hit that subscribe button, click that bell notification to stay up to date with all of my China-related content. I'll see you next time.